Moving on to the purchasing panel, we can see this time series viewer also has information that we can put into the grid and into the chart. Again, we can put sales trend on here too for current and prior year sales, which may or may not be useful for a user. The purchase flow will likely have the most helpful information for the purchasing panel. So you can see we can display the starting quantity on hand, what the sales forecast number will be, although you cannot edit this sales forecast number here on this screen. What quantity is currently on order, a simulated order quantity field that you can manipulate so that based on what the forecast might be, you can determine whether or not you want to decrease or increase the amount currently on order. The ending quantity on hand, based on the starting quantity on hand, the forecasted sales, and the amount on order. We have the daily rate of sales. When the daily rate of sales are the sales for that week divided by 7. It does not currently look at warehouse sales days. We have the projected days on hand, the target days on hand, which the target days on hand is pulled from the par days on hand on the product record. And if you make the change to the target days on hand field here on this screen, it will be reflected in the product record also. Any shortfall, and then suggested order quantity or suggested order pallets. The projected days on hand. This amount will look at the current quantity on hand, subtract the projected sales for that time period. If there is any left, quantity-wise, it will subtract the next time period's projected sales, and so on, until there is no more quantity left in the time period. Based on how many time periods it took to eliminate the quantity for the initial time period, that's how you get the projected days on hand. For instance, in this time period, for 6/10/2013, based on the sales forecasts from this time period and the time periods going forward, the current quantity will last 30 days. And that is subtracting this sales forecast number first, and then this number, and then this number, and then this number, and a little bit left of this number. And we have projected days on hand of 30 days. So a little bit over 4 weeks. We can use this simulated order quantity here to make our projected days on hand get as close to our target days on hand as we like. So up here, May 6, 2013, currently our target days on hand are 15. We want to have 15 days on hand of this particular product. So we go into the simulated order quantity. How much would I have to order to get that to work out to approximately 15? So if we add another 200, we can see it only pushes the days on hand up to about a little over, or very little over, 8 days. So let's move this up to 1500. Getting closer. If we move up to 2500, we can see 2500 will actually take us a little bit above. And as you can see down below, the suggested order quantity is 2240. If our simulated order quantity is 0, we can actually use suggested, and you can see it uses our suggested order quantity which matches our projected days on hand fairly well. This screen brings up the second part on the employee forecasting panel for their above and below target days on hand. If we go back to the employee record, go to and the forecasting panel. So on the employee record, we can see the time series viewer highlighting for below minimum par warnings and above maximum par warnings. Now those will be reflected per product on the minimum and maximum days on hand. So if we go to a product record, 50305, and we set the minimum and maximum days on hand. I'm going to change this to 7 and maximum to 20 and hit post. As you can see, those red and yellow highlights are useful in this purchasing to know when you have too little days on hand and way too much projected days on hand. And that concludes the basics of the information that you're going to see on the sales and purchasing panels. And this concludes our overview of the new forecasting dashboard for eoStar. We've covered employee setup. We've covered the components of the dashboard, how to choose products to display on the dashboard, and what type of widgets are available. We have also covered manipulation and use of the widgets on the dashboard, and what information can actually be displayed in this time series viewer from the data sources available. Thank you for viewing this presentation of the forecasting dashboard tutorial for eoStar.